It's safe to say, I think, that Geert Prulot is a retail pioneer. He is the founder of boutiques Louis and Cocodrilo, and he is much more than just into retail. He has been curating exhibitions at the Fashion Museum here in Antwerp. He is actually one of the founders of Flanders Fashion Institute, and he is a strong believer in Belgian fashion, and that we like very much. Tom Palmaerts is a futurist, he is a trend watcher, and he is one of the business partners at Trendwalls, a trend agency specialized in young consumers. He was actually Trend Watcher of the year 2013, and we're very happy to have him tonight. We've invited these two gentlemen to talk about the future of retail. Geert, more from an intuitive, more experienced point of view, whereas Tom is approaching this from a research perspective. So I would like to start with a reference to music industry. Let's say a year or 10 or 15 ago, we've seen that music industry has changed a lot. Everyone started like illegally downloading songs. People were thinking like, where is this going? And we see something similar in fashion retail nowadays as people are shopping online and going less into physical stores. In music, the focus has shifted. Like real performances have become much more important. Musicians started to do like different acts, different projects. How do you two see this for fashion retail? Do you see like a different path or a different future? Tom?
Now they're getting money not from their music, but from the events they do. And I think some bands are really good in this. They're very famous, very big, and they get a lot of money from merchandising and events. Then you have smaller bands, and they can become trendy and hip if they have a network. But there's a big segment of people that are not really big or not really trendy, and they have difficulties. So for them, it's more difficult now. But I think we can learn, or the industry can learn, retail industry can learn from music that you don't only have to focus on your topic. You can do way more things. I think a lot of retailers are now already experimenting with the combinations of fashion, hotels. Why not sleep where you buy stuff? X-Store in Berlin. It's really difficult to find the X-Store. And you should not Google it, X. And if you Google it, say shop Berlin. But you can also sleep there. And then you have a combination of fashion and food, fashion and drinks, events, expo. So there are a lot of things.
Okay.
Possible.
Geert, you said before that the retailer becomes more of a curator. How do you see this?
I see two things. You're right that online shopping has become very important, and also on the domain of online shopping, a lot of things are changing. This is a constant evolution. But I see online shopping more, on the whole online story I see as an instant moment. We just said it will rain next weekend, so we take our iPhone. We said let's go for a trip on the weekend. You go on your iPhone, and tomorrow you're on the plane, instant. Or even better, looking for the cheapest flight, instant, the cheapest. Or we had to go to the fashion wisps tonight. I didn't have shoes. I wanted that shoe in that color. You order them online, and the day after you have them. This instant, direct. But it doesn't give any emotional experience anymore. So what is contradictorial is that in the same time, brick and mortar stores have to be open 7 on 7. You should say, how? Everybody shops online. No. We see that people want emotion, they want an experience. They come to town, they put the car somewhere, or they come by train, or they come by plane. They go to this place to eat. They heard this is the new restaurant. There is a new store, a new product. There is an exhibition. There's something is happening, a new bridge. They will put a new bridge over the Italian Lake. We have to see experience. That's the whole thing. And that's why I'm talking multi-brand stores because the mono-brand stores, it's a different goal. I'm talking multi-brand stores. We have to become entertainers. We have to entertain the people by bringing not only the product we sell, but by curating what we buy. One-time products, brands that have a longer consistency, mixing them up, art, food, as you said, drinks, music, maybe sleeping, maybe people want to be entertained. Okay. And I see now that we have big examples that exist since very long. Colette in Paris, who always has acted more like a magazine now. They even sell their windows. They use it as advertising. Another big example, Dover Street Market, where the content of the store always changes. It moves around, new corners pop up every season, others disappear. You have the mixture, you can as well buy Gucci as next to it to add it as the latest product.
But it's a different business model. It's more like if you compare it to Colette, I don't think they gain much money from the margin they take on the
Colette
shoes. It's
different.
more
Colette
like
is different
you pay a fixed
Colette
fee.
is much older.
Yeah.
Colette is there since very long. But the business model for a multi-brand store, also us in Antwerp, is that we have to curate our store and bring more than the product as we have done until now since 30 years.
Yeah. You gave a very interesting example about Napster, and can you repeat that?
Yeah, no, the reason why music became democratized and open to everyone is that because of the guitar, the analog guitar, became data. It became 0, 1, 0, 1, and then people could put it on a CD, people could hack it, upload it, and download it. So the question is, when will this happen for fashion? When will your dress become 0, 1 so that people can hack your dress and download it and print it? And at that moment, a store can become a printer center where you can print your hacked Tim Coppens design.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a real difficult area. But what I would like to add is, I think online is really difficult for normal retailers today. But I do believe that e-shops are relevant, of course, and are becoming more popular in Belgium in the next 5 years. But IBM did research and they say that in 2020, brick and mortar stores will become more sexy, more interesting than online stores.
But they have to
I think in Belgium it will be a bit later, until 2020. So that's not long anymore. That's not long.
Right.
But
stay alive.
It's 4 years. But it will be more experience. It will be more art, food, drinks.
I totally agree.
And it will also be digital. You can't have everything in your store. So it has to be phygital. It has to be digital.
And physical.
Fast, instant, like you were saying, and physical, one-to-one conversation, because that's a new luxury.
And did IBM speak about the business model? Is it like today that retailers take a margin on the price, or is it a different thing? Is it a fixed fee that brands pay?
It will be a mixture, I think. Again, to the example of Colette, we have to be open, and also the producers have to be open to bring new products by way of these multi-brand stores. For instance, let's say Adidas makes a cooperation with this, with X or Y star. It is brought now to that store or to that store. You can find it there. It's only 2 weeks. You come, you buy, and it's over. This is one of the things that the curator of the multi-brand store will have to organize and to trigger and to find. On all domains, not only on fashion, it will have to be brought together.
And do you feel that this curator is merely acting from like a personal intuition, or is it a combination with consumer data?
The what we call in Flemish het buikgevoel. Yeah. We have always, us at Cocodrillo as well as at Louis, we have always acted like this, what we felt. That's why we are still one store only. There is no Cocodrillo chain. So we felt that with the popping up of online and the growing of online, that you have to go more for the product that is hyped, that everybody wants. But on the other side, I feel now the wheel turning back to the feeling. People come to buy emotion again. The people, I'm talking the small group, the elite, because we are talking luxury fashion. We are not talking the mainstream fashion. So we're talking so people want to be surprised again, want to be amazed again. And I think we will have two things. When we have in the store a product that has been advertised or communicated about online for months on end, people don't want it anymore because it's old, even if it has just arrived, just have been produced. So what we need in a brick and mortar store, we have to advance online. We have to be before online. We have to bring it before it's online.
Okay.
You see? We have to surprise the people. We have to amaze them. And it's old. It's always the wheel that turns, because in the past, people came in the store, they discovered the collection in the store, and that moment was the magic moment you could sell it to them, because they discovered it. Now they come and say, oh, yeah, but this glass, it exists in 20 other colors. Why don't you have the other colors? They know from the internet. That's the difference.
Tom, you have a lot of experience with like in-store technology, or you know all these futuristic things about monitoring consumer behavior and predicting what they want. How do you see this for fashion retail? Is this something for the near future? Do you think we will be monitoring what consumers do in our stores, or how will this evolve?
Well, technology can help us a lot. A lot of people are scared of, for instance, showrooming.
Yeah.
The idea that people walk into your store and then just say, well, this is something beautiful, and then they look to their phone and they try to find out where they can buy it cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, showrooming is one of the best innovations. Why? Before that, they did the same thing. They went to your shop, they looked at a product, and then they went to another shop to see if it's different, if it's cheaper. Or later, they went home and looked at their notebook or their computer, and they checked online. But for those stories, you as a seller, as a retailer, you don't have control of them. Now they're inside your store. They're inside your store, taking their phone and looking. And if you're a good salesperson, you give them Wi-Fi, because if you give them Wi-Fi, you can track where they're going to. Then you know what kind of stores are they checking. But not only from a technology point of view, just a normal salesperson can go up to this person and can start talking, because they're still in the store, they're not at home. So I think showrooming people are really scared of it, but actually it's pretty awesome. It's
and
great.
so the salespeople can convince them with the service they offer, and
they can interfere.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it's not only from your store to the online. You also have reverse influence. People are checking Amazon, Coolblue to see different elements, and then they find something, and then they go to the store because they want to feel it, they want to touch it, they want to smell it.
Okay.
So it's not such a bad thing. There are a lot of really cool tech innovations. For instance, we have an innovation that really can look to your face, see what kind of emotion you have, and based on your emotion or based on your color from your skin, advise you what kind of colors you can wear. Those are wonderful things, but sometimes it's a bit too gadgety.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you spoke about feeling and touching stuff. When we talk about crafts and about creativity, have become like some more hollow concepts. Everyone is using it. Yeah. And plus, nowadays, when you're a creator, it's much more difficult to bring your product in the market because mass creation is catching up so fast. You bring something original. High Street is jumping on top of it and is bringing the same thing the next week. How do you stay ahead of that? How do you deal as a creative with all these like very strong players around you that have like big bucks?
Yeah. So I think talking about craft, craft is something that has to be invested in. We all know that craft has a cost price. You cannot expect, we were talking Uniqlo, that Uniqlo brings craft. It brings the cheapest product possible. Yeah? So craft is something that has to be invested in by all of us, by the consumer, by the producer. Craft is also tradition, it's giving, it's sharing, it's you learn a craft and you give it to your pupil or your family. It's something that gets lost, but that we should embrace again, because if we are talking about the emotion in a product and the feeling of the product and the quality of the product, it's the craft that can save this, one side. But on the other side, we see that mainstream is not interested in craft. It doesn't help their case. Mainstream wants the product, they want the look for the price they can afford. And there is the biggest challenge, I think, for the industry and for the fashion industry. How can we convince the mainstream that we should be more sustainable, that we should be more ethical, that we cannot support slavery, that we should go for less but better? That's the big challenge for fashion, for tomorrow.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, it's really difficult to, because I think probably everybody here in the audience will agree with the idea that we have to think about more ethically and sustainable. And but then you have Primark, and then you have rows and rows of people waiting in line to buy yourself a T-shirt of a Starbucks coffee, like Tim sold. So that's kind of weird, and I really don't know how can we.
No, that's a big challenge.
You know, Naomi Klein, her book Shock Doctrine. I think we need a very, very big shock, but a really big shock, and then we can implement some things.
There is an example I always give. You walk in Paris from the Élysée Palace on the Faubourg Saint-Honoré over the Rue Saint-Honoré till Palais Royal, let's say. It's one fashion store next to the other. Bags, shoes, fashion, all showing in the window. We are the best, we have the best product. Imagine all these stores or food stores, bakery, butchers. We would say, it's too much, we cannot eat all this. That's what I want to say. It's too much, we have to slow down.
When we speak about slowing down, we see in different businesses, say in cars, for example, people start to share cars. It has begun in fashion as well. First, like Fashion Library opened in Antwerp recently. How do you see that? Like young consumers, you're working on young consumers. Do they feel like they do not necessarily have to own everything? And what does that mean for fashion long term?
But the entire trend of sharing economy, sharing culture, I like talking sharing culture, because otherwise it's only dollar signs, is big. And 5 years ago we told that it's going to be one of the biggest trends for the next 10 to 20 years. But of course, when we all get to share stuff, if you look to the high-end luxury market, owning something will become really luxurious. So I think yes, a car. Why a car? The status symbol of a car went really down. In Belgium, if you're 21 and you have a driving license and you have a car,
you're almost exceptional.
You're exceptional, but you're also the Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're screwed, basically.
You're screwed.
Okay.
In my time, you were cool. Now you're screwed. So the status symbol of the car is going down. Plus, the cities become bigger. If they're not on strike, you can take a tram, or it's okay. Or you can take a bike. I had to my generation, definitely your generation, when you want to make impact or you want to impress a girl, take a car. Now you better take a bike, because that's cooler. So the status symbol of a car went really down. So it's the sharing of a car that's going to grow really, really fast. If it's not something hippie-ish, if it's cool and if it's fast, if it's fashionable. Also, but for clothes, you have indeed a few really good examples already, and we can lease, we can share, we can repair, recycle, upcycle, blah blah blah. But I think a lot of people just want to own their own clothes. But then the question is, what is owning your clothes? And is it just only buying something for the rest of your life? Or is it buying something with the possibilities to, after a year, after 2 years, bring
Resell
back
it.
to Team Couples, and then that he can do a bit of
Adapt
restyling
it,
to
yeah.
make it a little bit up to date again. So I think we have to think about a more sustainable long-term relationship with the products you own. Besides, of course, the sharing economy that is going to explode more and more.
Okay, well, to sum up, I can say that we don't have to be pessimistic about fashion retail.
No
There's
way.
still a lot coming, a lot of exciting things going on. Thank you very much, Tom and Geert.
You're welcome.